Kevin, what will be the response of Mr. Trump? What will be the response of his White House today? Do we get silence or do we get a cogent response on the last 24 hours activities?
Cogent response, Tom. First and foremost, they're going to attack the media. We've seen this before anytime there is a report like this. And the second thing that they're going to do is try to work their angle on Capitol Hill to quickly turn the page ahead of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu's joint press conference with President Trump later this afternoon.
I want to ask you, with respect, Kevin, a simple outside the Beltway question. I thought the Russians were the bad guys. Do the Republicans in both houses, do they perceive the Russians as the bad guys?
It's split. I think that there is a growing sense inside the more old guard establishment community, people like Senator John McCain, a Republican from Arizona, that the Russians cannot be trusted, that Vladimir Putin is a ruthless dictator who has hurt so many people. But I think that you have to also remember, I talked to some Republicans who remind me that Hillary Clinton, several years ago when she was Secretary of State, actually tried to reset the relationship with Russia. So a lot of diverse thought opinions on how to navigate Russia.
Kevin, at the same time, we hear that Secretary of State Tillerson will meet with his Russian counterpart on Thursday. What will they talk about? Hacking?
Hacking, for one, and then also I think the question that is on everyone's mind is just what does the news flow last night, Francine, impact on this administration's plans to potentially walk back sanctions from the Obama administrations against Russia? Francine, a lot of folks in the business community, including Secretary Tillerson's former employer, ExxonMobil, would like to see some of those sanctions walked back, but the political climate is just too intense for that to happen right now.
All right. Talk to me about Flynn. The Foreign Relations Chairman, Mr. Corker, said that Flynn should testify. Will he? Will he be held into account about what happened?
You know, I spoke with Senator Bob Corker, a Republican from Tennessee, as well as Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat from Virginia, and both of them are intensifying their calls to have General Flynn testify before Congress. But Francine, Tom, the developments from last night regarding Paul Manafort, the former campaign manager regarding his ties with Russia, you could see a situation where Paul Manafort has to testify. This is not going away because, again, of this joint bipartisan intel committee in the Senate.
Kevin, I'm going to go where Indira Lakshmanan was with the Boston Globe last night with Chris Matthews. Let me be direct. Isn't there like a transcript of all this? And will we see that in the coming days?
Well, it's a particular point of nuance, Tom, is that the Freedom of Information Act laws regarding the telephone communications between the transition team as well as the campaign officials are not technically, Tom, under the purview of open records laws because they are not government records at that time. So that's where it gets tricky, and that's where, of course, the lawyers will come in.